Hello and welcome to Film Seizure. We are currently in the midst of what Jeff would call Maypril, where we are discussing the new run of Planet of the Apes movies. This week we are talking about 2014's Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, which should take place prior to the rise of the Planet of the Apes, but does not. And we will not discuss why, because we do not know why. We have a change in director here.
Yes.
From Wyatt to a director I really like, Matt Reeves. And you could tell this movie is directed by a different person. But first of all, that's Jeff. Jeff,
hey, I'm doing pretty good. Happy to be back here for Planet of the Mapes, and that it's Film Seizure.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah.
That was very Flight of the Conchords of us, what we just did there. And that's Jason. Hi, Jason.
Hi. Yes, it is very apparent to me, Chuck, that this was absolutely directed by the writer-director of 1996's The Pallbearer, starring Gwyneth Paltrow and David Schwimmer, as well as the writer of Under Siege 2, Dark Territory.
That's insane. That's insane.
Yep.
But he also made The Batman, which I quite like.
Yes, and it's the same music guy. Same music guy.
Arguably made a better movie when he remade Let the Right One In with Let Me In.
Yes, wait.
He remade.
No, I know. I thought we've always maintained that we like the original better. You think
I think it's debatable. I think it's debatable.
Up there. I mean, it's really good.
I think it really made some improvements. But honestly, it's been a long time since I've seen either one of them, so I'd have to reserve my judgment until a rewatch. But I do remember thinking, "Wow, that was way, way, way better than it had any right to be," and in some ways, I liked it better.
It's better than you would expect, for sure.
Are there any chimp face rips in it?
No,
but chimp face rips.
But there is a Jay Baruchel, Cody Smith McPhee.
Oh, right.
Yeah. That's my face blindness. Cody Smith McPhee in this movie that we're going to talk about looks like a young Jay Baruchel, and I thought it was him, and I was like, "Oh, it's totally not. That's Cody Smith McPhee."
Good job. Face
Good job.
Yeah.
One thing I will say,
Matt Reeves probably exploded with Cloverfield. Like that was his.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That was the thing.
Now here's the thing: Cloverfield was 2009. I don't like Cloverfield.
I like it okay.
The first one. I much prefer 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yes, I like it a lot better too. But that's not Matt Reeves.
No. But this was originally going to go to the original director of the last one. And he was like, in 2012, he was like, I don't have time to turn this around in 2 years. And so they were like, okay, we'll go find somebody else. And they found the guy who made his big explosion with a found footage giant monster movie. Mm-hmm. And he turned it around in 2 years and made a movie that at the time it came out, it's like, I don't think it's going to get any better than this in Planet of the Apes. And then the next one came out. But
also Matt Reeves.
Yes, but he did. I mean, he turned this in on time. I mean, absolutely nailed it.
It had about more than twice the budget, but it made like an obscene amount of money.
It made like $800 million or something worldwide. Yeah.
Does this movie and the next movie and the one after, do they have continuity with the Jaffa and Silver? Like, did they have a plan, or are they just kind of flying by the seat of their pants in this trilogy? I'm curious.
I think they were. I think that they're written by the same team,
right? Silver and Jaffa, at least.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So I think they probably had a sense of it. I know that when the first one was written, when doing interviews, they were saying that, well, eventually there's going to be the war between humans and the apes. So I think they had a rough idea. Yeah. of where they
they just had to figure out a way to connect
like
the dots.
Game of telephone that that some of these trilogies end up being. No, they had a plan.
Now I will say
assume so, because it does feel like this movie is really, really coming off the heels of what they set up.
Yes,
in the first one, like it obviously same writers. They knew what the first writers were writing about, but Silver and Jaffa very likely started working on a pitch of how to continue, with the idea that I think we can get to 3 movies, and here's what we would do when.
Right.
Now, I will say Kingdom, when we get to that at the end of this month, is in continuity just well detached.
Yes,
from like 200 years detached or something.
Well, I assume we'd have to go into the future. I'm intrigued by that one because, like Jason, I've never seen it. I watched this original trilogy, and it wasn't like I wasn't. I don't know why. I mean, I like these movies, but I'm never like I need to go to the theater to see this. I'll catch it when it hits.
Yeah, same.
Home video. And for some reason, I think. Well, no, I know why I didn't watch this one, because I wanted to watch them all now. Right, like for this, and be surprised by Kingdom when we get to it. Yeah,
yeah.
Sorry, where was I?
So yeah, I mean, set up what are we told during the credits here?
Okay, so if any of you lived through COVID, you know what we were told during the credits. Like, it's literally almost word for word shit we heard. Right, like don't leave the house. They don't say stand 6 feet away, but you can hear it in there.
If you feel sick, don't leave the house.
Don't leave the house.
Mm-hmm. And don't step on my rights.
And this is on the heels of, at the end of the movie, showing all the lines of the infected, like it's really
the infection carrying across.
It's really airplanes, but it's someone is infected on all those flights. Yeah. So we have the feeling that a lot of people are dead.
And those who don't die from simian flu
fight against one another, and we don't know how
in the collapse of society. Yeah.
So we're at that point now, which is really, I think, kind of why they call it the dawn of the Planet of the Apes, because there are no humans left. Like, if we're being literal about it, there were still people in the last movie, and there's still people now, but far fewer. Right.
But the apes are propagating too. Like they are reproducing. People are not.
Yes. The one thing we don't know yet, and I can't remember if we get to it, like this disease, and Jeff maybe you'll be able to illuminate this or make us wait. The virus that is being propagated by humans, if they come in contact with primates, do they become smarter?
No.
So the rest of the world is not having this growth in apes. They're only in mere forms.
Right. They're only in San Francisco. So a couple of things about that. There are two forks in the road here, right? Because simian flu is only called simian flu. It didn't really originate with the apes. It originated with ALZ 113.
Right. It's almost like how. Never mind.
Yeah,
China virus or whatever. Like,
right. Yeah. Exactly.
Well, that's exactly what I was alluding to last week. Right. There's the one character who shoots Ash, not Ash, the other one.
Max. I think it's his name. Max. Yeah, he shoots Ash.
Yeah, he shoots Ash.
Because
Blue Eyes and Ash are out hunting. Yeah.
He's basically like calling it the China virus, right? It's like the apes are to blame. It's like, and Carol was like, no, the apes are not to blame. We grew this in a lab, right? It's the humans did this. It was like, really,
but notice this the CDC.
You're going to take the sides of the apes. Yeah.
Yeah. It's insane.
But it's very dumb fuckery, right? And it's crazy that I mean, we lived that shit. Not 8 years later, less than 8 years later. Yeah.
Oh, and they're still talking about it. They're still trying to say these same things. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was born in a fucking lab. Honestly, I would not be surprised.
I wouldn't be either.
I wouldn't be surprised by that, but I also wouldn't be surprised if people if we're going to eventually give in and just say that's going to be the official story. There's already a webpage on the White House website that says that it was a built in a lab disease, and that's the final word, and that's the official word, and
of the United States.
Of
the United States.
Well, I was going to say of one
Particular person. Yeah.
one particular person, but
it is the
but
official
the thing
word
is
of the United States right now.
right now, yeah, and if we like, the thing is that there it is going to split where the midwits and the dimwits are going to say that is the official thing, and then the few of us that know that that's probably not going to necessarily be 100% the truth are going to be kind of ostracized a little bit. And most of the people that are left aren't just people who are immune to the virus for some reason or another, but they are, this group of people are primarily scientists.
In the movie?
Yes.
Or yes.
Yes.
In the movie.
So it's the people who knew, one, that it's the opposite, right? The majority know that it's not the apes' fault.
Well, we have a wide-ranging amount of skills. We've got the engineer, we've got the doctor. I don't know what Gary Oldman.
They all make up one character.
Well, Gary Oldman was a soldier.
Right, was a soldier. Yeah,
very likely like a high-ranking soldier.
They're not all like scientists per se.
No, but they are all people who knew how to survive dimwittery.
Well,
as
I don't know.
The world was falling apart around.
I guess in some ways, yes, but they also believe that they are immune.
Well, they
to
are
the disease.
Yeah,
well, they
but of the people who are immune, they're also the ones who survived, like fighting each other.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, Kerry Russell says we are immune because otherwise we would be dead before we got back from the apes.
Right.
So there is a
so the apes could transfer it to humans then.
Can transfer the virus.
Exactly what she said,
but. Well, she basically does say that they're immune because there's 1 out of 500 people had the genetic immunity to not die from being sick from that.
But they
flu.
don't. But they wouldn't get it. Wouldn't be transmitted to them from the apes.
Yeah,
I think it could be.
Mm-hmm. I don't think that was the line though. I think the line was just like, "Hey, yeah, we're immune. Don't you remember?"
Yeah,
hey, audience, we're immune. We need to get that established. Yeah.
One thing I called the character Max. I was actually talking about Carver. He's the cartoony
Carver.
dipshit in this movie that carries over from the last movie for sure.
I'm not gonna. I mean, as much as I know that Koba is a dangerous presence in the ape camp, I'm not going to say he doesn't do some good work.
Well,
in this movie,
I think he's very complicated and interesting.
Oh, I
also think that Gary Oldman's character is very interesting because there is sound logic in both of their motivations.
Absolutely,
Gary Oldman
for the people or the apes that they need to protect. Right?
There's a good. This movie presents the complication of war and the understanding of the enemy in a really good way.
Well,
you can sympathize with everyone who does something wrong.
Yeah,
exactly. And you can also understand
they don't necessarily except for
that guy.
Yeah, he's his dick. Yeah. Yes, because he just reacts, right? And he does.
He's a reactionary character.
Out of reaction. It's almost like shocking that he survived this long, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
And that's another, I think, interesting theme of this movie is what is the survival of the fittest and how does that fit into real human evolution, right? Because that's kind of what we're left with here are the fittest, if you really think about it in Darwin terms, right?
Right.
But there's still dimwits among the fittest.
Well,
because some people just got lucky. Right.
Well, I would say more dangerously.
Some people attach themselves to a Caesar,
right?
And some people attach themselves to who's the main guy,
or they have a protector, like the children, right? They're attached to their parents.
Who's the guy?
Take it, Jason Clarke.
Yeah, Jason Clarke. Like he has been with Dreyfus for years.
Yeah.
So it's probably one of the
Malcolm.
reasons he survived is because he has the brains of the outfit. And I bet you Dreyfus has got him out of some shitty situations.
Yeah.
Oh,
right?
I'm sure he has.
Yeah.
I'm sure he has. Like, Dreyfus is not really a bad guy.
No.
He does say one thing that could lead him down a bad path. The whole idea of we will, actually, I made a note of it. We can rebuild and reclaim the world we love. The reclaim part sends people on bad paths. If they don't like, I'm sure he's not saying
he is human nature,
But
that's what we would do.
He also feels like maybe we need everything needs to go back to the way it was without any thought to maybe
the way it is,
how things are now. Yeah.
But
Well,
no,
oh god.
No, I was just going to say that it's like, like as far as like when it comes to Koba, you understand that there is at first some healthy distrust of the scenario.
Every bit of his distrust is warranted.
In the long
Every
run,
bit of
it is. But the way he goes about getting his way, of course, is the train off the tracks.
He makes one decision late in the movie that you're like, okay, Koba, I don't believe this from you, which is kind of like, but it's also like powder keg incident. Like he creates the future he wants, which I've seen millions of people do.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
Like they do something. It's not even really against character so much as it is just the wrong choice.
Yeah.
Right. But so let's set it up. We're 10 years later. We talked about the fact that humans have been decimated by the virus.
And then they decimated each other further by fighting each other.
Further, but yes, exactly.
And now we're in 2026, and the world has gone quiet. Essentially,
the world has gone quiet, but the apes that are living in Muir Woods are thriving. They've built a community. They've built
like a fortress too to keep the animals out. Yeah.
They're becoming what we'll see in 200 years is the human variety of the apes. Right after 200 years or 2,000 years, I don't know what's going to happen.
It's funny what you say because we are going to see what this small thing becomes later.
Which is kind of what we see in the first Apes movie, right? The first original Apes movie.
Absolutely.
We're prior to that in this movie, which I think I meant to mention last week. I think it's kind of brilliant that the relaunch of the series was like, let's not go back into that future right away.
Let's start now.
Let's show what happened prior. Like the reboot of the series is basically sequel or prequels.
Yep. And this is kind of like the world of battle for the Planet of the Apes, where there's limited technology.
Yeah, it's been wiped out. There's no power, right?
There's no power.
That's a main driver.
Fuel is going to run out soon too.
Yes.
There are apes. Meanwhile, over in the apes camp, they have school, they have hunting, they have they have business to do. It's like it's kind of interesting that they have a daily set of things that they go about doing.
It's almost like the culture we would expect to see the missing link to be.
Sure.
Right. Like,
but really what we're seeing is we're seeing colonization of America, and we have the more like an indigenous group and a group that wants something from the indigenous group eventually.
Well, they're both indigenous, but yeah, I get.
Well, but I mean, like just framing it like one group is like Native American in the way that they are secluded.
They
keeping to themselves.
They own this space.
They own the space, and they have their own culture. They have their own way of doing things. And then you have somebody who's coming in that needs something from them that's going to create problems.
Yes, the humans are like the chimpanzees here, right? They would kill for the thing they need.
Yeah.
Like
in real nature. Week. Yeah. In real nature. Yeah. Yeah. They won't if they don't have to, but they're prepared to if they need to. Yeah.
And sometimes it's the first resort, but somebody else like has a better mind and is like, let's try something else first.
Yeah, they have voice of reason. Yeah, it's like, let's cooler heads shall prevail.
Right.
And that's represented in Jason Clarke and Caesar.
Right. Which are in contrast to Koba and Dreyfus.
Yes.
In a way.
Or at least Koba and Carver, if not Dreyfus.
Carver's kind of like the mini scale of what the larger community would do. Right?
Right. He represents the community's fear.
Yeah. He's a fucking idiot.
Sure is. Jason, how you doing up there?
Doing all right.
You got anything to add to this?
No, you guys are doing great.
We're riffing pretty good. All right. Continue on, Chuck.
Okay, so we've established that they have a community. Caesar is talking to, who is the Dr. Zaius guy? What's his
Maurice?
name? Maurice, thank you. He speaks of the pompatus of love, that Maurice. He and Caesar are talking, and they're semi-convinced that the human race is done. It's gone. Because
Maurice asks him, it's like, do you ever think of them anymore? And Caesar's like, sometimes, I guess.
Sometimes. And Caesar obviously had more of a relationship with humans than any of them did. Like a more established, like caring kind of relationship. So Maurice is like a very sympathetic dude, right? Or sympathetic, what is he, orangutan? I don't even know.
He's an orangutan, yeah.
Yeah. He's a sympathetic orangutan. But they're kind of like, it's been 2 winters. We haven't seen any activity. The humans are dead. They're gone. They've been eradicated.
They destroyed themselves.
They've been eradicated by themselves or the disease. But right away, Ash and Caesar's son, do we ever get a name?
Yes, Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes is Caesar's son, and Ash is Rocket's son.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, they do call him Blue Eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is kind of like handed down from his grandmother, right? Like,
Bright Eyes, yeah, a little bit, yeah.
A little bit. Yeah. But does that mean he's not smart? Because
there's just the striation of blue, and I think it's like blue and green.
The green shows that you've been touched by the thing, though. But maybe there's not meant to be anything in there, but
it might be like a mutation as like people or as like they begin to give birth to.
Maybe. Yeah. Anyway, like when you make such a big deal about green eyes, calling someone blue eyes, like does make me feel like there's something to it. But anyway, they're out. I don't know if they're hunting or just walking around or whatever they're doing, but they run into Carver, and Carver freaks out, and Carver shoots Ash in the shoulder.
Yeah.
In the shoulder. And he calls for help from the human contingent who run up. And then Blue Eyes is yelling for help, or they hear the gunshot. And this is like right after they talked about the fact that there's no humans left. Well, as soon as they hear a gunshot, they're like, oh shit.
Yeah, there's humans left.
We were going to shoot a gun. And they all like converge on this thing. And it's important because the main human, whose name I will never get right, Malcolm,
yeah.
Malcolm sees Caesar and he's like, holy fucking shit. Right? Like he's blown away by.
There's something different about these apes.
Yes.
And that one in particular.
Yes. And then that one in particular talks.
Yeah. He's like, go. Yeah. Get the fuck out.
And Malcolm's like, holy fucking shit. And he kind of, it's like that scientific discovery you fall in love with almost at first. It's not like a relationship, but it's like, oh my God.
I need to know more about this. Yeah.
Yeah. So they leave, they go as they're told, and Caesar tells Koba to follow, and he follows them back to their camp in San Francisco.
Make sure they're not up to shenanigans. Yeah.
Take over, Jeff, for a minute.
So, yeah. And so basically, meanwhile, Koba is like, hey, they shot your son, Rocket. What are you going to do about it? You going to do something about that? And Rocket's like, I'm going to do what Caesar tells me to do. I'm not jumping, because he's fine. He's going to live. Everything's okay. but I'm not going to do, I'm not going to go against whatever Caesar's. And Caesar's like, we can't have a war here. They have guns. We don't have guns. They're going to, if we take a fight to them, we are going to lose a lot of apes. And that's not what Caesar's interested in. Now, Koba does eventually back down, but Caesar kind of appeases him by saying, we're going to go to them and tell them, do not return, or you will.
Yeah, the first
we will fight.
We will show strength.
We're going to show
Yes.
strength. Yeah. It's like Koba says we need to show strength, and it's like we will show strength. And Koba,
they fucking war paint shit up like
Koba seems cool with this approach. He's like,
Yeah.
right, yeah, you're right. It's what starts to happen later. It's like, it's not really feeling so down with letting them, get power back. That's when Koba starts to think, well, that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Well, this is when information. I'm saying this too early because we're not there yet. But the information that Koba has is dangerous.
Yeah.
Because there is. Okay, I guess we have to go back to make that point. Like, Malcolm is like, I want to go back. I want to talk to them because their whole purpose for being up in the woods was to gain power from the dam to power San Francisco, or at least a part of San Francisco. Right. They've been working on changing the wires there. He's like, I want to go back in there. And Dreyfus is like, you have 3 days.
They don't just, that's
they
exactly
have
right.
to go back.
They have to go back. Either they have to go back. It's under what pretense?
Right. Yes, absolutely. Malcolm is like, I want to go back to talk about a peaceful way to do this.
And if you're not back in 3 days, we're going up there with all the guns and weapons that we have.
Right. And we're gonna wipe
one
them
way or
out.
Another,
he says,
we get power back or we die.
And this is where like diplomacy is weird because Malcolm can't really tell them, if you don't help me, they're gonna come kill you.
And Dreyfus also doesn't really believe that they're that intelligent.
Yeah,
because he hasn't met them yet.
Right.
And that's the interesting thing, because it does kind of give you some indication that a lot of what happened on the bridge was covered up.
Oh,
That totally. They were just wild apes.
Yeah, they were scapegoated, which is why people have these opinions about the simian flu, right?
Right. And so when he tells Malcolm, it's like, he spoke, and it's like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
They don't know anything. They can't speak. It's like, you haven't seen these apes.
Right.
And so yeah, basically, this is, like, the humans are desperate.
Yes.
Which does speak a little bit to how dangerous people are when they're desperate, and multiply that by an entire community, because Malcolm is even concerned. It's like, there is nothing I can do if we run out of this resource, or if we run out of resources. There's nothing I can do to save myself, you, or those apes, basically.
Well, is it Caesar or Koba that says they're desperate? They're going to come back.
Well, they do say desperate.
It's Caesar.
I'm wondering.
Caesar says
it,
they
right?
seem desperate.
Yeah.
And Koba's like, all the better. We should kill them while they're weak.
But
And
that
Caesar's like, if we don't help them, they will come back, and there will be war, and apes will die. And Koba says, well, all the better. We should just kill them while they're weak. So there's this idea of, we need to try peace first, right? Which is, let the level heads prevail, hopefully. And Koba, he's like, all right, we'll try your way again. But he's getting less and less enamored with this idea. Yeah.
Right, because Koba has a sense of loyalty to Caesar because he freed him and gave him this life. And I really like Koba in this until that moment later.
Right.
Well, Koba, I will say Koba is complicated. Like, that's what's interesting about him. I don't know if I like him, but he's interesting.
Right here where Caesar says, let them do their human work. And Koba points to all the scars on his body and calls it human work. And it's really good. It's like,
it's effective.
It's got a point, man.
Like,
he does.
I'm with Koba. Like,
but that's when Caesar tells Blue Eyes, is like, the only thing that Koba has learned from humans is hate.
Best line in the movie.
and nothing else, right?
Best line in the movie, hands down.
Yeah. And
He's like, I've learned.
Perfect description of the encapsulation of that character, right?
And Caesar.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because you think the opposite is true of him.
Yeah.
Would you kind of say that Koba and Caesar are kind of within this kind of society, like not necessarily based on what they've learned from the outside world, but their positions towards things and their eventual butting heads? Like, is that kind of like a Lenin Stalin kind of
definitely
dynamic? Yeah.
It's like Animal Farm. It's Animal Farm.
Sure.
Because that's Lenin and Stalin too, is it not? Or is it? I don't remember.
I don't know on that one, but like
it
obviously
is talking about the communist infighting is what Animal Farm is about.
And certainly, I think history tends to paint Stalin as the more aggressive one.
Yeah.
And Lenin the more maybe thoughtful one.
He's the more communist, like the ideal instead of the practice. In a way. Oh, I don't know how to say it. Jason, looked like you.
I think there's a connection to. I think there's a connection to the name Koba to Joseph Stalin, like in history. I think it's
really
or something. Yeah.
I mean, this feels very Animal Farm to me. It feels very Animal Farm to me.
I could be wrong. I could be wrong if there's an actual connection, but I do 100% believe that's he is the Stalin for sure. Koba is.
Well, yeah, because later he is more than willing to punish his own as if they're enemies. But anyway, so basically, so Jason Clarke is like planning on going back, Malcolm, and Kerry Russell's like, well, what if you get hurt? I need to go with you. He's like, well, I thought you were going to stay and watch after my kid. And the kid's like, no, I'm going too. And fucking they bring Carver. Seems like the last person that I would want to bring, but I think he knows something about how to, like, he has to go because of the work that's involved. So there's like basically 6 people who are going to go back, but Malcolm is going to go in alone to try to gain the appropriate access. And he walks in basically through the gate, not realizing that gorillas can hide pretty good, and they are surrounding him.
It's kind of never-ending story. The wolf in the cave kind of moment almost. Real quick, not to interrupt for long, but Vladimir Lenin, Leon Trotsky, and Joseph Stalin were old Major Snowball and Napoleon in Animal Farm.
Okay.
Sorry, and we can move past that.
Stalin was influenced by Alexander Kazbegis, the patricide, and Stalin adopted the nickname Koba from a character in that, a bandit protagonist.
It's almost like these people who write these scripts are really smart.
Himself the name Koba, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, this is like borrowing the idea of Animal Farm and actual life, which Animal Farm borrowed its idea from. It's really interesting.
And Shakespeare. It's Hamlet and Julius Caesar. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's yes.
Yep.
Hamlet, but there's no pigs in this, but there are an Animal Farm.
I don't know. I prefer Shakespeare's tragedy Omelette. They're way too expensive these days. The tragedy.
You have to break a few eggs to make a tragedy, Jeff.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny. Malcolm walks in to make his offer. It's not even really an offer. Like, I figured they'd be like, we'd share the power with you. If we get power, you can use it. Or there's no like real negotiation.
Well, it's kind of funny because he keeps talking about like power and has to turn on things and stuff. And he's like, you don't get any of this. And like Caesar it is perfectly set up to where Caesar's looking down on him. He's like lights and stuff, it's like, I'm not an idiot.
Like I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm following you. I'm there.
They do carry on the one wordness from the first movie to start this movie to kind of.
Oh man, when Maurice speaks, that's fucking great. That's
Yes.
up there with no.
Yeah.
Yes.
Run.
Yeah.
Run.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, the one wordness, it does kind of allude to the fact that they aren't as progressed yet.
But they're getting there.
Yes.
They're getting there.
Well, I think they understand things. Like, even in the first movie, it was an annoyance I was going to say, is that, like, at a certain point, Franco's character stopped using sign language and was just talking. But Caesar had to use sign language in the back seat, but he couldn't see him, but they were still talking. Sorry.
He was looking in the mirror. It's like he's getting everything. It'd be funny if what he said back was in reverse.
Yes. Yep. Anyway, so Malcolm does convince Caesar to give him some time, but the compromise is that they have to give all their guns. No guns. So it's Carver, Malcolm and his kid, whose name I can't remember, and Ellie, who is played by Kerry Russell, and
Alexander is Cody Smith McPhee.
Yeah.
Thank you. A couple other people who are
Jay
up there
Baruchel.
to try to turn the power back on, because people need their amenities, right? Like they need.
Well, they're running out of resources. They're trying to communicate and trying to open up like lanes to survive. Basically,
what's interesting about it is the apes are doing just fine.
Yeah,
Like the people, could figure out a way to do just fine without finding other people.
Right.
But they're so fixated on getting the old life back instead of adapting to what is.
This was
and
when
I don't blame them for that, but it is what is driving them. Yeah.
That was always what was the best parts of like The Walking Dead, right? Was the idea that there was the old versus the new, and the old can't get past certain structures or certain amenities, but the younger people were adapting quicker, and it's like that was always the best part of that,
because they don't have any use for the past that they were never a part of, right?
They have no use to be called a governor or anything like that. Yeah, like
it's like you boomers are all gonna die, and all that context will be lost, and maybe we're better for it, right?
Yeah.
But once you've seen progress, it is hard to go back. Like, again, human nature.
Yeah.
Like, once we've seen how good things can be, and you can debate whether it's good or not, that we have the internet, computers, social media, blah, 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 blah,
like
blah,
all
blah.
that crap. Like, we've talked about
once
this
you've
before.
seen it, it's hard to go back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Like, what would we do without our phones attached to us?
If we had a chance to start again, right? I don't think the first thing I would think of is how do we get it all back?
No, I would be like, what the fuck are we going to do now?
Yeah,
it's like we got to do something now.
I would think it'd be a smaller percentage, honestly, who critically thought about the things that may have hurt us as a society that we thought as progress at first. Like a smaller portion of people would be like, we don't want that handheld device because it did XYZ to us.
Right.
Or, you know what I mean? Like we would
have the benefit of hindsight.
I agree with that. Mm-hmm. I think I would be willing to cut some stuff. Everyone would be willing to cut something out.
Well, some people will have to. I mean,
it's just interesting to think about how people would react in a scenario where they were given the chance to choose. What of these things do you want?
That is the one best thing about Land of the Dead. As much of kind of a wet fart that movie is, like once you get to the concept of, there's a guy with all the resources living in an ivory tower and not letting anybody new in. Everybody else has to live on the ground with the threat. And it's like, there's an interesting concept of there will be the people who will begin to hoard. And, and it's like society is going to be built out of the people who can't hoard and just leave those people behind or eat them. It's like one way or another, they're going to move on without those people eventually.
Right. Yeah. And that's the thing we don't really get to here with the motivation. Right? They just want to contact to see if there are other survivors. They think that maybe they think like the apes, stronger together, right? Maybe that's just at its purest sense. The more of us working together, the better, and the easier it will be to survive. We have more people who know about medicine. We have more doctors, more teachers, right? Like maybe that's the sense of it, and
I can get behind that.
and that's not terribly wrong. Yeah, there is value in that, but there's also danger in that, right? So yeah, where you're talking about, you've got The Walking Dead or Last of Us, where you see something totally different, where you have these isolated communities who they let people in, but they're very weary about it, and they have to be careful.
And when they start to interact, it's almost always a negative interaction at first.
And it's almost like, well, are we letting in another different kind of virus, right?
Yeah.
And will it spread and
The
contaminate
human virus.
what we've built that's safe? Yeah.
They're not part of what we built. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
They haven't had the exact same experience that we've had.
That's why we don't have guests on the show anymore. They're others. We don't want others.
That's what Julie's gone to.
Yeah, Julie tried to take over. She shot me in the fucking face, and I fell off a tree.
Her insurrection was the worst.
Oh my God. And she was telling us for years from the back seat that that's what she was doing. And we didn't listen. Part of it's on us.
It is.
We needed to nip that in the bud.
You gotta listen, or at least like give a voice.
You can't blame me for this. I wasn't around for that shit.
No, you weren't. Like we can't. It's like she only learned hate, nothing else, and that was the problem.
I wonder if there's a single
She did
listener.
only learn hate
Yeah, she learned hate from you guys.
from us. She learned it by watching you, Dad.
Yeah, I wonder if there's a single listener alive who understands that joke.
I don't care.
I don't know.
Jacob, maybe Jake. Is it Jacob?
One of these days,
I don't know.
I should archive these episodes with tags so that people could go back and listen to all the Julie episodes.
You'd have to log into the site and do some shit on there first.
I know, exactly. And then
Because I ain't doing that.
They could follow the lore,
The lore of Julie, the backseat driver.
Yeah.
Chuck uncovered some he got information online that he was never supposed to have.
Yeah,
You know what I need to do though? Like we have AI now. AI could do this for us. Could run all
AI
the
started
episodes.
this problem.
Yeah, AI started this.
Oh my God! It's like Planet of the Apes paradox loop.
It's an Ouroboros of fucking AI chicanery.
Why are we going down this road?
I don't know.
Is Julie the backstreet driver now in the front seat? Is that
No,
why
she's
we're going down this road?
is she a backstreet driver now?
Maybe she's quietly been
Manipulate-
takeover.
Pull the strings.
Yeah. Pull the strings.
Oh my God, we're way the hell off here.
Oh my God.
All right. Anyway, so they get to the dam, which the apes have incorporated into their, like they've built around it. It's like they've built a dam over the dam. But
Yes. Yeah, they have. Yeah.
yeah, so they get in, they begin working on it. They have to like blow out some stuff with explosives, which gets them trapped. But Caesar and Rocket and Maurice free them
Yeah.
from it, and so like earns a little trust, But the thing is that all the while, Koba continues to go back to the camp with his buddies, and he does uncover that there are people in Dreyfus's camp who are doing some practice shooting.
Yeah, they have a whole armory of weapons.
They have a
lots of weapons.
shit ton of weapons. Now, that is because they own the area in which there is a base there. Because Dreyfus does bring that. Gary Oldman does talk about having to go to the base to open up the armory if they had to. So there is a military base that they kind of have behind their walls.
Yeah.
But Koba, this is the first time he kind of is interacting with these people, and he's kind of doing the whole goofy ape thing, which is fucking great.
Oh yeah, because they notice him and they pull their weapons on him. And at first he
He is fucking scary though.
What's the word? Scowls at them.
Yeah, he's just kind of staring them down, and they're like, "Holy shit, you're ugly!" And it's like, and then he's scary.
And then he realizes, okay, I need to take a different approach here, and so he acts like the dumb ape that they would assume him to be, right?
Yeah.
The circus ape.
He's doing the whole, and he's like, flailing his arms around.
Right.
Yeah,
and they're like, "Just get out of here, you stupid ape!" Right? And he's like, "All right, but I'm coming back, motherfuckers." Yeah,
yeah. It's like, I'll be back for you and those.
Yep. It's like I see what's happening here.
Yeah. Now,
and at this point, he's like, Caesar needs to know about this. He's like, yeah, he is, because what happens when he gets back is the whole deal.
Tell nobody what we did.
Well, he doesn't tell anyone because something happens first that makes him concerned about Caesar trusting the humans too much. And what happens is they find out that it's uncovered at the camp, the human camp at the Apes compound, that fucking what's his name, jerk ass Carver, yeah.
Sorry, I was muted. I said Carver, but Carver.
Yeah, he brought a gun when he shouldn't have. And
and we should
sort
also
of
say
haphazardly uncovered by a little baby chimp.
Well, yeah, because Blue Eyes is the first son.
Yeah.
And Cornelia gives birth to Cornelius, a little itty bitty cute ass baby.
So cute.
And it's crawling around on the people, and it's like
it's this nice moment where you think, oh man, maybe we can coexist, right?
Yeah. And it's especially interested in Kerry Russell. And
I'm especially interested.
Sure, I would too. Yeah, I would. It's like, I like that curly hair. Let's go see about that. But then like Cornelius gets over to like the toolbox, and it's kind of messy. And Carver fucking loses his shit like an asshole.
Yeah,
and that's when it's discovered. And then fucking Caesar loses his shit. Like. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
he's like,
my family's in danger.
Yeah, and he's like, we said no guns. Get the fuck out of here, basically. And he chucks that gun into the ocean. It's like he's not messing around.
But he brokers another tentative peace. Is like, as long as this guy stays out there, you can finish your work. And that's when Koba's not having it. He's like. Yeah. What are you doing? You trust him too much. And that's when he decides to keep the information about the guns to himself.
And then he eventually says, you love humans more than apes.
More than apes, yeah. And that's when he also starts to like turn his son against him too.
Yeah.
It's all Shakespearean shit right there. Yep.
But Caesar's not having that. So he beats the shit out of Koba.
Yeah.
In front of everybody. And Koba relents for the time being, but he's got more plans.
Yep.
But then he's also infecting the son by saying, your dad doesn't trust me.
Yeah.
You need to protect him.
Yes.
I fear for his life as long as the humans are around.
He's setting it up. Yep.
He's setting, yes, 100%. Koba's he's not a dummy.
No, he's not. No, he's not. So I mean, I think that's basically what happens next, right? Well, they get the power.
He goes back. They get the power. They listen to the band.
Yeah.
That's actually a really cool scene because last like the wait, right? Like it's the last moment where they all feel a little bit okay.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because
that group of people.
Yeah, because like Caesar's there, Maurice is there, and they're all just kind of having a moment.
I love that set too and how it's lit in that scene. It looks very cool.
Oh yeah,
and I like it's the future and the past. It's like
I like the overgrown like Phillips station. Yeah,
it's kind of lit like a Hopper painting. It's very very pretty.
Nighthawks at the diner.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Yes, there's light coming from one source, but everything else is kind of like
there's a glow to it. Yeah.
And you can see that like Caesar's remembering what the world used to be like. Yeah. Because, this is something he's seen. The others haven't. But he has, and he's kind of thinking back. Yeah. And there's a twinge of like, maybe, I don't know, nostalgia or something that's coming over him. Much like the humans are getting nostalgia from the music that they've heard for the first time.
And that's why he decides tell Malcolm he trusts him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he's brought back that like part of the human trust he used to have.
And it's sad because if Malcolm were to go back, he could potentially tell the humans, hey, man, everything is cool with the apes. We have our power. We leave them alone. They'll leave us alone. Maybe there's even like this possibility of some sort of society together as time grows. You know, that there's a potential for peace and prosperity, right?
I think that might have been there anyway. Because the lights came back on, Dreyfus knew that the apes had let Malcolm,
that they had worked together.
Right.
Together.
But the tragedy here then is that it's Koba who
Koba gets there first.
he gets there first, and he can't see past his hate, right?
Well, I don't even know if he even recognizes the fact that the lights are back on, but he's already driven, like he's already made his decision. Yeah, right. Like regardless,
he can't coexist with the humans. He's not going to allow that.
And he saw the weapons, and this is where I understand him, right? Like he saw the weapons, he saw what they had, and Malcolm was never fully upfront with Caesar about what Plan B was.
That's true.
Or maybe like Malcolm was Plan B, right? Plan A was to go
just
kill
take
him.
it. Yeah,
true. You're absolutely right.
So Koba has like real fears that are based in reality.
Yeah, they're justified fears. They are
justified fears, exasperated by his only interaction with humans prior to this.
The problem is
Caesar painted it perfectly earlier.
And that therein is the problem. He's making these decisions on his own with a limited worldview, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Limited worldviews, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, we all have limited worldviews, right? That's why I think
But this is why we have councils. This is why we have advisors, right?
This is why we're
supposed to surround ourselves with people who are going to give different opinions about this.
Oh, are you saying that our diversity is our strength?
Yeah, kind of.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
and diversity doesn't even necessarily even have to be the color of your skin, right?
It's just diversity of thought and experience,
or your gender or your sexual orientation.
Right.
Your
it's just
experiences. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
We're all guilty of this right now to some extent, though. Like the separation of. We shouldn't get into that.
That's a.
Well, I don't know. I mean,
sure.
I would go hang out with Caesar if he'd have me.
Absolutely.
That seems pretty cool over there.
He is your guy, though.
He's my guy. He is my guy. Yeah, hell yeah.
He's obviously someone that would be in your group already.
Hell yeah.
If he was
I'd take him to the Redwoods if you wanted to go. Let's go.
Like reaching across the aisle a little bit sometimes isn't a bad thing.
Right. Right. But even worse is when you close yourself off to anyone who's telling you anything other than what you want to be true.
Which is 100%.
Which is what Koba is doing, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yes.
Yep. It can only be this way, so I'm not going to allow any other idea, to convince me otherwise.
It is worse, but he is threatened.
Sure.
Koba is threatened. Like I can forgive him most of what he does.
Sure.
Up until
it's up until the next scene.
Right.
Yeah. Because what happens is Koba returns. Now he goes to where the guys are shooting. It's like, hey, we told you to get the hell out of here. And this time he picks up a gun and not the guy's beer.
Does Andy Serkis do this mocap too?
No, this is it's
because this is fucking wonderful.
Tony Kebbell.
Yeah,
he did the mocap for this because it's so good. Like the drunk ape, it's so good.
Yes, it is very good. It is very.
By the way, Caesar's wife Cornelia is Judy Greer.
Yeah, she doesn't get much to do.
She just lays down the whole movie.
Yeah,
pretty much. Yeah. Anyway, so he goes back, he picks up the gun and they're like, whoa, shit. And then he turns and he just blows them away. And it's just that going from like kind of goofy face to, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to fuck you up.
He plays the fool to get close to them. It's like, if you didn't think Koba was smart before this, you do know he is now.
Well, I mean, the first time he encountered them, he puzzled it through and he realized he had to be a goof. And then when he comes back, he knows when to turn it.
He's more armed than they are, even though they have guns.
Yep.
Yeah.
Real quick on Tony Kebbell, he also did the mocap for Kong and Skull Island.
Shit, yeah.
My favorite.
This does feel very Kong.
Yeah.
And like, yeah. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. That's like, yeah. I mean, yeah. There's not much better in the modern MonsterVerse than Kong Skull Island. Yeah. I mean,
great.
Just about everything in that movie works. But anyway, so he returns with his crew, and the first thing he does is he kills Carver, and they have a plan to frame Carver for one, trying to kill Caesar, and two, setting the place on fire.
Yeah.
And that's a real horror scene when Koba ends up at the window. It's like House of the Devil when the guy shows up with the lighter outside. Yeah.
It was the buildup of Koba shooting Caesar is so good. And that last moment realization that Caesar has that, I've been betrayed. Oh God, that's so good. I mean, that's the best acting in the movie.
Yeah.
And it's people in mocap suits made to look like apes. It's amazing. It's amazing. One thing we did skip over, when, Alex, makes friends with Maurice and he gives him Charles Burns's Black Hole, which is about a virus spreading amongst teenage kids. That's good stuff.
Yeah.
That's a book I'd like to read. Actually, I would pretty much like to read all of Charles Burns' graphic novels. Anyway.
Do it.
They're long, Chuck. I gotta space this out.
All right.
But anyway, that last moment, Chuck, I was just saying that last moment, like that buildup of Koba going to shoot Caesar, just all of that acting is some of the best of the movie when Caesar realizes that he's being betrayed.
God, yeah, it's great.
But yeah, so the whole place lights on fire. It gives Koba it's the powder keg, right? They did this to us. And that's when Maurice looks at the humans and he's like, run. Yeah. That's so good stuff. But yeah, at this point, Koba now has he's taken control and he's able to convince the rest of the apes that they need to go and wipe out the humans. And he knows where to get the armament to do it.
Yeah. Yep.
But
we've got the tables. He turns the tables on the humans, right? He goes into the town, into San Francisco, right
and they're just celebrating. They're not, right across the bridge in a place called San Francisco. You ever heard of it?
It's paradise.
It's paradise. It's expensive, but I guess it's paradise. But anyway, they're all just he's caught them with their pants down.
Yeah.
Which is actually tactically, he's got it. He's got a pretty good idea here.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. He wants to capture them all, put them in cages. Treat them
just like he was
treated. Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
He also there's another really great scene there where Blue Eyes is experiencing the war once it's finally kicked off. Mm-hmm. And I mean, he's just he doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know if he's doing the right thing. He doesn't know what to do. He doesn't know where to go. He doesn't it's really good stuff.
Yes, yes, it is.
And you feel bad for him because he's starting to kind of figure out maybe he's led his life has gone down a path he didn't expect it to. And obviously wouldn't have with his father. But I mean the San Franciscoans do put up a pretty good defense for a little bit. They start, rocket launching apes all over the place. But at one point, Koba has a tank, and that's scary. And my note is now Koba has a tank. Ho ho ho.
Oh man.
So yeah, he starts blasting. I mean, he drives through the gate, which basically opens the whole thing up for the surviving apes. But man, like the gorillas, like pulling the injured chimpanzees off. I mean, that's like, it's like war zone, like documentary type footage. It's like, it's Saving Private Ryan, right? Like at the beginning of that movie where it's like, there's a real sense of these apes are a community. They are they're trying to help each other when they've gotten hurt. And but yeah. Now the next morning, Malcolm and Ellie find, Caesar. And they think he might be dead, but he actually begins to kind of blink or breathe. And, he tells them that he knows it wasn't them that did this, that it was Koba.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And that they have to get someplace because it'll be bad news if Koba comes back. And so he's like, I know a place. It's right over across the bridge. It's a place called San Francisco. It's paradise. I do like that he has consistently used that little that little structure that was in his window.
Oh, as like a symbol or a call to arms. Yeah.
Well,
he wrote it on or drew it on the wall in his little prison in the first movie,
and then wiped it out.
And then he wiped it down. Yeah.
When he when he realized he wasn't going home.
Yeah. But yeah, it's his. I guess is his coat of arms is the word I was trying to come up with. Yeah.
But yeah, because they're like, man, where's he taking us to? And he ends up back home. And that's when they realize, oh, here's a picture. It's like, oh, that's him. And they end up even finding a little home movie of a scene that was cut out of Rise of him learning sign language from James Franco. And also probably learning, how to smoke some pot or something. I think probably Seth Rogen is filming that. It's like, blow it in his face. Anyway, but yeah, so but there's a problem. Ellie can save Caesar and get the bullet out of his shoulder, but she doesn't have the resources to do it.
Yeah, so she has to send Malcolm
back into the city because he's like, I can get it for you. This is a pretty good scene too, because this is I mean, apes are all over the place. He's got to dodge them. It's a good scene.
It is. It's very siege. There's a siege happening in it, an action movie. And this is on the heels of, forgive me if you already said this. I don't think you did.
No, I think I know where you're going with this.
Koba throwing Ash over a rail to kill him because he wouldn't kill the humans that were cornered on a set of stairs.
And that's pretty much it for Blue Eyes because hey, you just killed my best friend.
Pretty much
for something that my father would not have wanted. Would you have done that to me if I'd have said I don't want to do that?
Well, even Ash had just said this is not what Caesar would want, and he was shot by the humans in the beginning of the movie. So it's it's clear that Caesar's message is very implanted in this group, and the only way they would have gone to war is if a human killed Caesar. right?
Right.
And now they're still kind of like, we are not going to kill just for the sake of killing because that's what Caesar taught us. These people are captured. They're yeah.
Well, it's what Blue Eyes tells Caesar. He says it's fear makes others follow, right?
Yes. In the future here, yes, he tells him because Malcolm is in that building and that there's like all hell around him. Humans
People being pulled out,
things blowing up, things being knocked over. He's actually hidden fortuitously 3 times by things falling over when an ape would have seen him. And I'm like, oh, that's so lucky for him. But it's cool. It's a cool
it's
scene.
a well crafted set of events that happens in the scene. Yeah.
Yes.
But also, I was going to say also, Blue Eyes already knows that anybody who was too loyal to Caesar, Rocket, Maurice, they've been locked up with, in a separate cage, but like the humans are.
Yeah. They're in
Which
a bus cage.
Yeah, a bussage.
Oh.
But they, you get the I kind of got the impression, especially after he yeeted Ash over the balcony, that he was going to ultimately kill every single one of these people that he's in prison.
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, I think Koba's smart enough to know that having prisoners could be of value to him too if other humans come.
Sure, but I get the feeling that if he doesn't
anyone
get that,
that's dangerous to him, he would kill. Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
And possibly even the apes in that bus.
Yeah, those are his political prisoners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, we are full on in Stalin mode.
Oh yeah.
With he's killing the Cossacks at this point.
Yes, but Malcolm is running through that building, and another like kind of horror scene in this movie. You have a shady figure in the background. You don't know who it is. You assume it's Bright Eyes or Blue Eyes, whatever the hell, Blue Eyes. And it's Blue Eyes. And he is willing to turn a blind eye because he is not Koba. He's more Caesar, but he's kind of in between two. He's not fully Caesar, right?
Right.
I'm looking forward to seeing his progression because I can't remember the next movie and how much he impacts it or whatever, but, I assume it's the baby that's the big one down the road. But he lets Malcolm go. And he like turns his shoulder basically like, you can get out of here. But then Malcolm's like, your dad's still alive. And they go to Caesar's childhood home.
He goes to Grandpa's house,
where Caesar has been surgered. Is surgered a word? It is now.
It is now. Sounds good to me.
He's been surgered. And he's recovering from his wound. And that's when Blue Eyes says, hey, fear is what leads or draws people in, whatever that line is. And then Caesar's like, I need to go stop Koba, but I can't because apes always look for the strongest branch, which is the second best line in this movie.
Yeah, that's a good line.
Yeah. And Blue Eyes is like, let me help you. So Blue Eyes goes and does all the cool shit, reconnaissance, releasing the people in the bus prison. And that's actually a really cool scene when they force the bus over. Mm-hmm. Like they're holding on to all the dudes. It's like the second major moment in this series with the bus. I hope there's one in the next movie, actually. I
don't remember if there's a bus in the next movie. I know we're out of buses. We're out of buses by the fourth one.
Yes, the fourth one looks like nature is completely taken.
Right. Yeah.
Buses have been eaten by plants at that point. But
there is a gigantic boat in the fourth one. I will say that.
Oh, okay. Spoiler alert.
Yeah, it's you'll find out what's going on there.
But then Caesar finds a video of not James Franco teaching himself like the alphabet or whatever he's teaching him early in the movie, and he's having that like communal moment with a human again, right? Reminding him of what built him in a way, like his formative years. And then Malcolm comes up and he's like, your kid's not back. It's been 2 days. And then they show up in the street. And now I'm losing my voice. So somebody else says it.
So yeah, basically at this point, it's like, Caesar's got to go back and also we also have a scene where Malcolm ends up finding Dreyfus.
Yeah.
And this pretty much...
This is when they go back into the city. Like Caesar leads them back into the city and they're going to take the tower. Yeah.
They're going to take the tower, but also Dreyfus has said, we've called for a military to come, basically.
Well, they've got it wired. They're going to blow up the tower.
But there's also going to be there's somebody coming too. Like there's
Koba and the male apes have taken over the human tower, whatever that tower is in San Francisco. It's probably the Salesforce Tower.
It's the Twitter tower.
Okay, it's the X
fucking
tower.
blow that shit up.
Yeah. Caesar has been reunited with the political prisoners. He's going back to take down Koba.
Right.
The humans, Dreyfus, after much of them have been killed or captured, are under the tower wiring C4. And that's where Dreyfus is leading Caesar through the tunnels. And one of the humans is like, if you're a human, say you're a human right now. And Dreyfus is like, get up those stairs. You'll come out on the street. Then you can go kick some dick. Right. So Caesar goes to kick dick. Dreyfus is like helping them wire shit. And then he's like, you know what? I'm going to pick up this gun and tell them you can't do this because he's up there. And I think that's like kind of a cool line because Malcolm has realized that Caesar is the only person, I say person, I do this a lot in these movies, but what do you call him? The only character or entity that can save anything, put anything right. Right? Like he's the only one that can unite all of us.
He's also just good. He's a force for good, and he's on the tower, and Dreyfus doesn't understand that. He wants to give Caesar enough time to retake the tower, and he knows that Caesar's going to be up there and will be in danger, and probably die if they blow the tower while he's on there. So he's like, you guys just need to wait. We need to give him time. Yeah.
Yeah. And Dreyfus still, like you said, he doesn't even understand the capabilities of Caesar at all.
Oldman plays this so well too, because he's not playing it as a villain. He's playing it as someone who is being betrayed. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And to him, he is being betrayed. And that's what it feels like. And you can tell that Malcolm knows that too, because he feels very uncomfortable with doing it.
It's almost a Koba Caesar. Like there's a very mirror kind of relationship.
Right. And Dreyfus in this sees Malcolm as Koba. Yeah. It's very good. And ultimately, like the way Dreyfus goes out is a hero's death. To him, there are no good apes and bad apes. They're just all bad apes, right?
And he died saving the world.
And he died saving his people.
The human race.
Right.
Well, he is not, I mean, I will say they may be bad apes plural, but bad ape is in the next movie.
Yes, I know. That's Steve Zahn.
Steve Zahn, yeah.
Oh, I love Steve Zahn.
Yeah. Oh, he's great.
He is very good. Yeah.
But they did also because the radio guy, it's like, yeah, no, really, for real. We contacted a military base. War is coming.
Yeah.
Essentially.
In 3 years. Theaters.
Look out for Woody Harrelson.
The leader of the Alpha Omega crew. Yeah. Oh, Woody Harrelson's good in the next one too.
They did attract some good actors for this.
They really did. They really, really did. And he's really good in the next one. But but yeah, so it's like basically like eventually Caesar and Koba get to it. they get to their fight.
Finally.
And it's pretty even between the two of them. Caesar will get a good kick dick in and a dick kick. Yeah. And Kobo get a good face smash in. But eventually the whole thing is crumbling down around them.
Yeah, because old boy
blew himself up.
Bomb. Yeah.
Yep. And eventually it gets to the point where like Koba is hanging off the side and he wants Caesar to save him, thinking, well, the lawgiver said, apes do not kill ape.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Caesar lays it down. He's like, you're not an ape.
This is interesting. It's biology versus identity, right?
Yeah.
Like biologically, he's an ape, but
he made his
what apes stand for and what apes are. He's not.
He is not, right? Which is, you could even potentially get into all sorts of like.
That's kind of what I was alluding to.
Yeah, it's like you can get into all sorts of different topics around that too, where it's like, people who are ideologically on the same side, but with two very different tactical ideas, again, kind of going back to like, Lenin and Stalin, but they never had to come to blows over an exploding tower before. Although if they did, that would be fucking awesome.
But this is really interesting.
Somebody make that movie.
This is really interesting in the end because we have the same scenario, right? The human coming to Caesar again. And this time there's a little bit different of a relationship, right? Obviously, Malcolm's not Caesar's dad, but instead of for peace, why Caesar turned Franco away in the first one, he turns away Malcolm for war. He's like, I don't want you to die.
Yeah, you will never be forgiven. You gotta go. You gotta like, yeah. I'm going to be followed, and if you're with me, and
humans will never forgive, or apes.
Neither side is going to forgive either one of us. So. Right. Yeah, it's like you got to go.
The war. Apes started the war, and I like that Caesar admits that.
Yeah,
he's like,
he's got to clean up the mess. He's got to clean up the mess.
Never be forgiven, and you're gonna die if you stay here. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And
stuff. This is a good
Caesar. Caesar wins back the whole village too.
Yep.
What I appreciate is them not trying to figure out a way to get James Franco back into this movie.
The video.
Yeah, they just used old footage that they didn't use.
But I don't think that's James Franco, is it?
No, it is. It was a cut scene.
You know what I mean?
It was a deleted scene.
If he were to survive the simian flu.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Oh yeah, he's the one who shows up at the end with like a big beard and like a backpack and a walking stick and a mid-credit scene. He'd be like, Caesar did it.
He's
like at its worst, he would have been a main character, but even like putting him in as like a weird, bridge to the third movie would have been horrible. Yeah.
Oh my god, that'd be hilarious.
I do want to talk about.
You were like, I'm back in paradise.
I just crossed the river in the bridge, and I'm back in paradise.
I will say that the music, I wanted to talk about Michael Giacchino in this because he actually not only created a theme of his own for this, but he also used some music cues even from Danny Elfman's score in 2001.
Oh, weird.
But But there are parts of it that sound very, very much like it fits in with those movies from the 60s and 70s.
He integrated some of that. It's missing like the bongos weird stuff from those. Yeah. But
the experimental stuff. But like there were certain like
it's in the same key and the same runs. Yeah.
Yeah. And there are moments where it's like, man, this really does sound like it belongs with those other ones. Yeah.
I want to go back to one thing real quickly. The only thing that Lucius or Draco Malfoy should have done was laugh like Charleston Heston.
Oh my God,
that should have
yes.
been the callback.
And show like his gnarly yellow teeth. Yeah.
That would have been when he got electrocuted.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Old man teeth.
I have old man teeth.
Well, because we're old men, Chuck. I mean,
But I'm a silverback, so fuck you.
right.
yeah,
buddy.
he's gonna like jump on top of you and like crush your head like a melon.
Yeah. What comes after the dawn?
Day of the Dead.
War.
Yeah, War for the Planet of the Apes. You thought this one was good.
What's weird is I remember this one more than I remember War. Obviously, I haven't watched War yet to like have that kind of
So
the
wonderful
flush that comes to you. Like, oh yeah, I remember all this, but
it's a wonderful full circle that's about to happen.
nice.
But yeah, Woody Harrelson, very, very good in it. Yes. So May 21st, right here at Film Seizure, we have War for the Planet of the Apes 2017's. It tied for my number one movie of 2017
Oh really? I didn't know that.
with The Shape of Water. So
That's a crazy feat to tie a Guillermo del Toro.
I know, right? I know.
Yeah.
It's good. It's good. Logan was up there too that year. I remember it was.
That's fucking great. I love
Yeah,
that.
it sure is. Sure is. Maybe we could do that one at some point. But first,
We should.
we got to do more. We got to do more Mapes.
Yes.
So, yes, go to filmseizure.com to find all of the places you can follow us. You can go find our episodes, all of that good stuff. That will be Wednesday, May 21st, War for the Planet of the Apes. This upcoming Monday, also at filmseizure.com, listen to my episode of Monster Mondays for Slumber Party Massacre 2.
Triller Killer.
So yeah, that should be pretty good stuff. This upcoming Friday at my website, bmovieanima.com, I have a review of the Super Infra Man. And oh boy, is that a fun one.
Never heard of it.
It is a Hong Kong, it's Shaw Brothers, kind of inspired by like the Super Sentai type stuff, but it's crazy. It's bonkers. It's fantastic.
Normally I've heard of what you've done, but this time, no. I'm interested.
Good stuff. It's on the YouTubes. You can check it out.
Nice.
Anyway, so yeah, until then, I'm ready to go to war. I am Jeff Arbuckle.
I'm Chacoba Moore.
I am Jason Oliver, and you have been listening to Film Seizure. Caesar!
Caesar!
Damn it!